it's one thing when you've got a few second delay or less than a second delay in your own ear, but when it's that much, I don't know when you guys. It sounded like your voice. I mean, it wasn't changed in any way. I don't know.
Yeah, the pitch was all the same.
I couldn't tell who was actually talking. Hello.
Hello, I'm back. Is it doing it again?
We got to wait 7 seconds.
Oh, Brylang's back. Wait, Brylang and I think started this discussion.
Yeah.
I could just blame him.
I have never seen that before in all my years of Google Plus Hangouts experience. You know,
that's why I was wondering if it's because I had my mixer completely disconnected and reconfigured for the live recording. So I was thinking, well, maybe it was me. Maybe there was something with my mix minus that I had set funny, but I don't think so. I mean, how wrong can you go? It either works or it doesn't, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I haven't changed anything on this end. I powered the machine off last week and powered it back on tonight. So
crazy.
3 Hams and a Rose is back.
Oh,
good.
3 Hams is back 2. Shouldn't he be back 3?
Back 4. Back 5.
Back bacon. With the ham. I'm sorry, did that offend you?
Yeah, you'd be on the Canadian...
Oh, sorry.
Taunting.
Where's your toque?
It would be unseasonable for me to be wearing a toque at the moment.
Only in the...
I like Brylang tonight. He says, blame Canada. I'm used to it.
Although I have to admit, the Jane toque was awesome.
I thought it would be a nice touch.
Air
It's
Rooster
kinda
back
cool,
too.
I think.
Good.
It's funny. I know we have 4 people that have answered. There's 6 or 5. I mean, and it shows 0 viewers. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Google's silly. Silly Google. We want to do a podcast. Stop being silly.
Oh, so is it G-Slink? Slink G? G-Slink.
G-Slink. Gary Slinkard? Yeah.
There you go. Ham says, see, turning it back off and back on again always works.
Yes, you're right. I ham it always works.
On again.
In the previous show, G-Slink was having problems getting into geocaching.com, but nobody else did. So we figured maybe he was banned. He's not.
Okay.
That would be very nice.
Is that like Band on the Run?
3 Hams in a row. Any relation between myself and bacon is wholeheartedly welcomed.
He's a funny guy. All right.
So
hey, we're going to do a show tonight now that we're not to ourselves over and over again.
Let's try this. This is fun. We could do a show.
I got to fix my lower third here.
Okay. That doesn't mean you're putting pants on, does it?
No.
Oh, I don't have a lower third. I don't have pants on either.
I don't. It's a pants-free podcast.
It always has been.
That's right.
Why start now?
Okay. Lower turd is returned.
That's not how you say it.
I have a squid.
Hey.
Thanks for sending that down.
It makes good.
I took it up.
Or took it up. Yeah, that's right.
Here. That was good.
Oh, man.
Bad cap waggle your squid.
Mine's upstairs. I'm out of the squid waggling.
All right.
Here. I have a short cable. Does that work? It's not what that means.
It's the same, only different.
Yeah. This whole episode has just completely derailed already, and we haven't even gotten started.
Okay, so I'm going to play the music. I kick it off. You guys just be quiet for a while.
Yes, sir.
Until it's your time to speak. I know that's a lot to ask for. Okay, we're on the air, which is unusual for me to actually start recording.
And we're recording.
Here we go. Well, here we are on Thursday night. You got all the hosts together, finally, and we're only saying things one time. So, welcome to Caching in the Northwest, the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the great Pacific Northwest. We'll talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So grab your cunning hat and be a leaf on the wind. It's time to go caching in the Northwest.
The leaf on the wind. This is a great podcast, and we will call it The Great Podcast. But it can't be a great podcast without our favorite frosty friend. Some say he makes yellow snow in the summer, and others say that he won't walk in the shadow of a cloud. All we know is that he's called Land Monkey.
Hey, and if there's any advice that I can share with our listeners today, it is not only make sure your mix minus is set and the Googles aren't evil, but don't eat yellow snow.
That's right.
All right.
What
Well,
about snow cones?
you know, it's just not worth the chance.
Okay.
Listeners and viewers, thank you all once again, and viewers who are very patient with us as we had to restart the Hangout tonight because of infinite echo repeats. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for joining us. And welcome to Caching in the Northwest. And hey, if this is your very first time joining us live, we're sorry. If this is your first time listening to us, it probably isn't as weird as it has been for those who have been watching this live. But thanks for checking us out.
That's right. Now, just in case you've heard us mention a few times, we started the Hangout. There was this weird 7-second delay, and everything we said was repeated. Never seen that before. It stopped. We're good to go. So we may refer to, double speak. It's double plus good. Whatever.
We'll put that in like the DVD extra features or something, bonus features.
There you go.
Outtakes.
Now, listeners, we love hearing from you in your own voice, one time or a 7-second delay, we don't care, about the favorite caches and the caching locations right here in the Northwest. We want that in your voice each week on our podcast. Now, be sure to call in to 253-693-TFTC with your favorite cache, and we will play it on the podcast as soon as we can. Your message just needs to be about 15 seconds long. That's long enough to say your geocaching name, the GC code, the name of the cache, and why you liked it. If we play it on the episode, you're going to win some cool swag. So this week, we got a call and an interview about the same geocache. So I'm going to play them both because, two's better than one.
Anything?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
At the MVG Summer Games, we have Mr. Hippo here to share with us his favorite cache in the Northwest.
Yeah, normally my favorite caches are earth caches, like going out to see Molokini in Hawaii.
Very cool.
Or some places like that. But I think my favorite one in the Northwest is in Centralia, Washington, Johnny Island's Throne Room. Don't know how much we can talk about them here.
Just don't spoil it.
Well, it's based on a guy who likes to launch porta potties into the atmosphere. How about I leave it at that?
That sounds like a pretty cool cache.
That's enough to really pique my interest.
We brought half a dozen kids along, and they were all deep inside of it.
Not sure about how that turns out, but
Surprisingly well.
that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your favorite cache,
Thank you for asking.
and enjoy the event.
They said they brought half a dozen kids. I wonder if they took them all home with them. But hang on, we're not done yet.
But wait, there's more.
Hey, Bad Cop, listen, this is Dan, also known as IHAM. There are so many great caches in the Northwest, but my current favorite is Johnny Island Throne Room in Centralia, GC 5757 Zulu Juliet Romeo. And it is just a really well done, the Goblin Dust cache, and really well done.
Very cool. Well, thanks to both of those people for talking about the same cache. And I'm going to have to get down there and check that out one of these days.
I'm going to go down there hopefully within the week, so I'll drag you along if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do.
Now, Centralia, just to help those of us who may be suffering from a little lack of understanding of Washington geography, is that towards the Olympic Peninsula?
It's roughly an hour south of Tacoma here, right on the Long I-5.
Okay.
You go
Oh.
south from Tacoma to Olympia. The next one, next major town you hit is Centralia.
There's
Okay.
two little cities referred to as our twin cities, Centralia and Chehalis. So, not to be confused with Minneapolis and St. Paul. Ours are better. We're excited also to see more entries into the hashtag Geocache Road Trip contest coming in. Now, for those of you that don't know, or those of you that do, you all have until July 31st to email your photos, and the photos should include the hashtag Geocache Road Trip somehow inserted into them. Send those entries to geocachingroadtripcontest@gmail.com, and you could win some very, very cool prizes from Landsharks, How to Puzzle Cache author Cully Long, Munzie, Cache Advance, Open Caching NA, coinsandpins.com, World Caching. It's just a really huge list, and there's been some really creative entries as to how they include the hashtag Geocache Road Trip.
Absolutely, there have, and we're just hoping to get even more. You guys are being awesome out there. We just want to see more awesomeness. In fact, today we confirmed that our celebrity judges for the contest will be, as previously announced, Dave DeBearmaker, but we also have Daryl W4 of the GeoGearheads podcast is going to be our other celebrity judge. So they're looking forward to reviewing all the great entries at the end of the month. All right, well, folks, another contest that we want to give you notice of is the Open Caching North America 5th Anniversary Contest that is coming this August. All you need to do is find or place an OCNA cache in August of 2015 to win great prizes. Details are on the OCNA blog. It's a very weird URL, but if you just go to blog.opencaching.us, you'll find it. We'll also include the direct link in the show notes. And yeah, definitely check that one out. Now, folks, in other news this week, we found a couple of fun and interesting articles to share with you. We thought you would really enjoy them. And first of all, a reminder, very important reminder, geocachers, when you are on your hashtag geocache road trip, secure your chilled malted beverages. The Associated Press carried an article that made the rounds on all the news channels last weekend that featured just how laid back the bears are this summer in the Northwest. At the Baker Lake Lodge in Washington, fish and wildlife agents were called in to deal with a drunk and disorderly bear. While the campers were away, the bear did play. He downed 36 cans of Rainier. Apparently, he did try one can of Busch before deciding that his preference was for Rainier beer. And the story goes on to share that he was chased up a tree where he slept off the hangover before he was lured into a bear trap with donuts and 2 cans of Rainier, and subsequently humanely relocated, possibly to a brewery.
You know, this is one of those stories that it's too outrageous not to be true. So, you know, the Rainier Brewery is in Seattle. It's in South Seattle. You see it as you go up and down I-5. There's a big R. So, if the folks at the Rainier Brewery are listening to us, if some big hairy guy shows up for a tour, just grunts at the door, it's either a bear or land monkey. Either way, you probably shouldn't let him in.
I would be suspicious either way. Well, that just kind of goes to show you how hot this summer's been here. Even the bears are looking for a few frosty cold ones to cool off.
And they do prefer the Washington brews.
Well, and who wouldn't, really?
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. There was 1 can of Busch beer opened. And 36.
Clearly a preference. I mean, like, well, there's no microbrews here, but there is Rainier, and you know it's better than the Busch. I'll try a Busch. Let's see. Oh, no.
No.
I mean, I know a bear has an incredible body mass, but 36 beers.
Yeah, well, you know, after the first 24.
And I'm sure they're not getting every drop out of the can. You know, they don't quite have the opposable thumb to pop the top right.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
But
Those
wow.
bears, all class all the time, I gotta say.
That's quite the story. Let's go on to other news, shall we? In other news, Garmin has shared that the newest eTrex GPSR family members are the eTrex Touch 25, 35, and 35T. The eTrex Touch lets you share your waypoints, tracks, routes, and geocaches wirelessly through unit-to-unit sharing to compatible Garmin devices. The smart notification feature means you'll never miss a text, email, or notification from your compatible smartphone using Bluetooth LE. The new eTrex GPSRs come preloaded with 250,000 geocaches from geocaching.com, and there's a long link at buy.garmin.com that we'll send along.
So those 250,000 geocaches that come preloaded, do you have a guarantee that none of them are within 250 kilometers of your home?
I don't know. I have a hunch you've probably found most of them. So,
and we don't know how many kilometers any of those are away from our home.
Hey, I thought it was interesting reading through this. I think the big thing, obviously, in the name, the eTrex Touch, is that it is a touch screen. So it's the eTrex family upgraded and with the touch screen added. So that's cool. Yeah. Sharing routes, tracks, and waypoints wirelessly, unit to unit, that's not new, but definitely Bluetooth.
Exactly.
With your phone, that is definitely new to the eTrex family.
Yeah.
So very cool.
And it's the Bluetooth LE, which is is it low energy or?
That's what it is. Yeah.
So not all phones do it. All Apple devices, I think from the 5 on have Bluetooth LE, but Androids are still hit and miss. So you want to go to the website, check out to see if your phone's going to work with this.
That's why we put an asterisk in the show notes.
Yes, compatible devices, compatible smartphone. It's the same kind of technology that the fitness trackers and things use, I believe.
That's the Garmin Ant wireless technology, basically kind of a modified Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Cool, man.
So, we have more news, but let's jump over to Brylang for just a quick minute. He says, darn, it's a bit far to go to Centralia from the block party.
It's a bit.
And it would be. Yeah, that's probably 2 hours.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends what you're doing, but if you only had the day, it's probably too far. I would imagine the cache can't be done at night.
I would imagine that's true. I have not looked at the description to see for sure.
Many of Goblin Dust caches are at businesses that you need to access during business hours.
Yeah.
Right. But he's always really good with putting that information in the cache page. So I guess that's the clue there is go check out the cache page.
Definitely.
Well, more news. We've got so much going on in our big world that we go and play our game in. The Backroads map books have gone mobile with the launch of the new Navigator app for iOS and Android, and I'm sure only compatible devices. The first app of its kind, this GPS navigation app features the same highly detailed, seamless topographic maps that our map books and GPS maps are known for. Choose a province and an adventure layer to begin test driving this first-of-a-kind GPS navigation app for free. It's truly free. This is amazing to me. In addition to featuring the largest trail network in Canada and hundreds of thousands of backroad points of interest, this app also includes, trip planning, trip sharing, recording and waypoints. You can log and track stats, add photos, hunting and fishing species, tips and techniques. Always good. What kind of fish you're going to get there. Offline maps, compass and weather. You want to go to I'm trying to read this. BRMB Navigator.
Backroads Map Books.
Backroads Map Books.
So
So
I did install this on my Android device to test it out, and didn't get to testing it out because as soon as I had it installed and asked for a login, I thought, fine, I'll create a login for you. Then, did I just hear myself? No? I was just making sure we're not getting that echo again. As soon as I logged in and went to fire it up, it said, hey, you can start your 30-day free trial before we start charging you for this. And I thought, oh, no, I don't want to do that. So I haven't actually used it. I had installed it, but I'm not keen on apps that, I appreciate the 30-day free trial, but I'm not super keen on apps that want to pay per use.
I went and just looked at the app and said, great, it's free. Wow, this is amazing. I didn't see there were in-app purchases, so.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's not. You go to the website and do it there, right?
Well, but here's the thing, right? That it is called an in-app purchase, which can sometimes be misleading because my brain thinks, oh, okay, that's an upgrade beyond the basic usage. But even for the basic usage, after 30 days, you have to pay.
That's a bummer.
Yep.
But it's available.
It is available, and I think if you don't mind paying for it, and I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't super cheap.
You've got to pay for the map books anyway, right?
You do. So if you decide that you're going to go down that road, then it's probably a good way of doing it. Yeah.
Double entendre there.
There was. Hey, well, moving on. Some more news in the online geocaching community. This week, a number of social media savvy geocachers followed the example set in the UK and created the hashtag US Geocaching Hour on Twitter at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Mondays. It's a great idea. Hopefully it'll catch on. Two things that I'm not entirely clear on, and I would certainly like input from anybody in our Q&A who's has experience with this, or my co-hosts, anybody. I'm going to sound really mean, but I mean, what's the point? So I don't know what you do with a geocaching hour. A lot of people tweet back and forth, I guess. It's a Twitter hangout. I'm not sure. I suggested perhaps the use of hashtag NA geocaching hour, but apparently it was too late to change. So I did clarify Canadians are invited to the US geocaching hour.
NA would be not applicable.
Or North America, so that you're not US centric, but
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I don't know what. This is the first time hearing about it, so I don't know what all involved with that. But I'm going to go do a little research this weekend and figure maybe I'll jump in and, well, maybe I won't. We'll see.
Well, hey, and if anybody who, sorry, go ahead, Beckham.
Please.
I was just going to say, if anybody who participates in the U.S. geocaching hour or the U.K. geocaching hour is listening to this podcast, you say, oh, well, you silly land monkey, this is why you do it. But, call in, tell us. 253-693-TFTC.
There you go.
It's at 6 o'clock here on the West Coast, so, it's very doable.
Yeah. I'm usually home by then. So, geocachers, as we mentioned, it's so hot this summer in the Northwest that the bears are stealing beer. And the drought drags on. And as it does, remember to be extra careful when you're out, either urban, suburban, or even wilderness geocaching, and be aware of forest fire dangers. It's so dangerous, I can't even say it properly. Pack out whatever you pack in, and if you see any fires, any smoldering, any smoke, any signs of fires, report it, would you? In Canada, it's 1-800-663-5555, or you can just call star 5555, toll free on most cellular networks in British Columbia. And in Washington, you can report a fire at 800-562-6010. Other areas, call 911. I don't know, but do report it, wherever the number is.
Exactly. And it is hot. And if you're not planning to bring 36 cans of Rainier with you, remember to, when you go out, bring lots and lots of water.
Yeah.
Guys, it's hotter out there than you think it is. So
I would say even if you are bringing 36 cans of Rainier, all the more reason to bring lots and lots of water. Because the bear is going to take your Rainier, and then what are you going to do?
Hold on. Laugh. Okay, now I can hear you again.
And that's exactly what we think of the bad cop.
That's right.
I can play this back and find out what's going on. That 7-second delay, I'm going to kick it back in right now. No. Hey, and if you're taking a dog with you, bring water for them too.
Absolutely.
So before we wrap up our news and information here, we want to remind you that we are always interested in your news. Geocachers, we want to know if you've claimed your latest geocaching road trip souvenir from geocaching.com. That's the T5D5 souvenir. Tell us about your epic adventure, because if it's a T5 or D5, it's been epic.
Yeah.
And remember to send us that hashtag geocache road trip photo too.
Absolutely. And while we're waiting to hear from you wonderful listeners and viewers, let's tell you about what I did on my summer vacation. Well, okay, it wasn't really a vacation, but it was definitely a hashtag geocache road trip. my daughter and I were honored, and I do mean that sincerely. We were honored to be invited to the Great White North to participate in the second annual Metrovan Geocachers Summer Games. Summertime Winter Games, wintertime Summer Games, call them what you want. It was just a heck of a lot of fun.
Well, sadly, I wasn't able to join you. But I hear that you and Mr. Land Monkey were set up in the International Broadcast Center.
Indeed.
And you guys were busy doing a few things, including capturing so much audio. I've spent the better part of this week editing it down just for this show. In fact, there was so much audio captured, we can't play it all back in this episode. But what we're going to do, just for you guys, this is special, we haven't done anything like this before, is we're going to release a special episode with all that audio so you can get the true feeling of what it's like to have a snowball fight in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, sorry about that much audio, Bad Cop, but it's a bonus for our listeners who will want to go and pick up that special bonus episode. We'll definitely announce on the social media channels when that's done and ready. And folks, well, Bad Cop, we wanted to make sure you didn't miss out on anything, so we did try to be as entertaining and thorough as possible from the International Broadcast Center. And it was an awesome day. Wits End and I were further honored by the event organizers by being given the privilege of carrying the MVG Summer Games torch into the venue and lighting the cauldron.
It's the first Olympic cauldron I've ever lit, been a part of lighting. It was really...
Well, it was the second one you saw that weekend.
It is true.
There you go.
Yeah. It was definitely a unique experience. It was a smaller torch than the one we saw from the Vancouver 2010 Winter Games, but I have to say every bit as impressive. And the experience that I had crossing a grass field on two-man wooden skis with Land Monkey behind as the crowd cheered us on, I mean, that was just an incredibly great bunch of people up there. And once the games got underway, well, things were just crazy summertime winter fun.
Well, let's listen to a little bit of the audio. And this is the intro here.
Background noise. Oh, the whistle. The whistle means freeze in the middle of the snowball fight.
So we are at the MVG Summertime Winter Games.
And it's a gorgeous day out here at Port Royal Park. Where are we, in New Westminster or Richmond, or where are we?
We are in New Westminster.
Okay. I knew we were close to one of those two things.
We're very close to both of those things.
And as you hear the whistle in the background, the participants of the games are having a snowball fight to determine which of the three teams they will be assigned to compete throughout the day.
It's just that simple.
Pretty much.
And it's a lot of fun. So we just got kicked off, and the games started with the official announcements.
Yes, a rousing long speech by Dora Moore.
And then subsequent to that, there was an attempt at personal humiliation by yours truly and
yours truly,
the two Trulies, representing the podcast here.
Absolutely.
So we were tandem skiing on 2x4s with our feet strapped to them.
Yes.
So picture that.
To light the torch to officially declare the games open.
And we successfully did it. We did not even fall over once. With no practice.
Not even twice.
That's right.
We decided to go without practice because we thought it would be more entertaining. But we managed to stay upright regardless. So it was an experience, to say the least. And I have a strong suspicion that you may be able to catch video of it at some point in the future on the Land Monkey Geocaching Adventures
Absolutely.
show.
Absolutely. So it looks like they've just about finished determining who's on what team. They're down to just the last couple of people having their snowball fight, and yep, looks like they're wrapped up. So the teams have been selected.
All right.
And we will pick up our play-by-play a little later in the games.
Let the games begin.
You know, guys, that's as good as a broadcast duo as I've heard in any of the sporting events that I've watched.
Yeah, well, you can just call me Brian from now on.
Okay.
It was something else.
Aren't most of the broadcasters that we see in the U.S. actually Canadian?
Probably at least half of them, usually. At least for the winter games.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
What about the summertime winter games?
Well, definitely for your summertime winter games. That is
exactly
a very Canadian thing, clearly. It was a lot of fun. And you could hear a lot of noise in the background there, a lot of people having fun and yelling and whistles blowing. And the last count I heard is that we did have over 100 people participating in the event, and the planning has already started, I believe, for next year. They'll need to move to a bigger venue, I think, because
I was going to say it was very well attended, and I think they outgrew that location.
Yeah, which is cool. One of the comments was to watch the Land Monkeys Geocaching Adventures channel on YouTube for video, which we will have some, but I humbly bowed to Scruffster, who put together the video, the official video for the event, and that's actually already up on the social media channels, but I'll try and make sure I can find the link to that and give it to the Bad Cop so he can put it in the show notes for folks.
I was going to say I'll do my best to put it in the show notes, but we'll also put it on the social medias that we always tell you about at the very end of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to listen to there in case you can't find us. And Brylang says, no, Land Monkey, you cannot be Brian. He's claiming that one, and I'm not sure why. We do have a lot of audio, so I want to jump into the next part. So let's jump right into it.
Yes, here we are at the International Media Center for the Metro Vancouver Summertime Winter Games.
Summertime Winter Games.
I'll get that straight eventually.
It doesn't matter. By the time you get it straight, they'll be over.
They'll be over. Then it'll be time for the Wintertime Summer Games.
So, Wits End, what do we have going on out here?
You know, I'm not exactly sure. But we do have 3 teams competing in the MVG Geocaching Summertime Winter Games.
That's
Wintertime
true.
Summer Games.
The 3 teams have been determined. The 3 teams are the Snowdrifts
Yes, the Icicles.
and Team Frostbite.
Team Frostbite.
And so the 3 teams are all gathered around large coolers, and they have some sort of activity going on that requires judging. So we did have the judges conferring in front of the International Broadcast Center just moments ago, and the judges are now actively
they've
judging.
dispersed and they're observing the activities here.
Yep, exactly.
I do see that they're pulling ice cubes out of the.
Ice cubes.
It looks like they're pulling ice cubes, doesn't that?
That looks like ice cubes.
Lots
What
of
on
people
earth are they
wringing their
doing?
hands and rubbing them in their pants as if their hands are cold for some reason.
Yes, I see piles of ice cubes forming at the foot of the coolers.
It's almost as if it was a winter games with ice in the summertime.
And considering this is one of the hottest days of the summer so far, this is a lot of fun. Is actually what I have to say.
It's really good.
Well, there we go. Now, guys, you were able to get Dora Moore, the event coordinator, to come over and tell you exactly what was going on.
She cleared up a lot. We have Dora Moore with us to explain a little bit what the teams are competing, what exactly they're doing with the ice chest and the piles of ice that we mentioned earlier. So I'll let Land Monkey ask her some questions.
There we go. Hey, Dora Moore, thank you for coming over to the International Broadcasting Center.
Thank you for having me.
There you go. Why don't you take the mic there? Awesome. We're in good shape. And so we have a event going on with 3 different teams and coolers. Can you explain for us what we're seeing?
This is the team puzzle challenge. They have to find a puzzle, solve the puzzle, and go locate the cache.
Well, that sounds easy.
Yeah, of course it is. Except the puzzle is a winter puzzle. It is frozen into ice cubes. There are bits of thread in many, many, many ice cubes. And some of those threads have beads on them. The number of beads give you the coordinates. They're color coordinated. And the more hands they're melting the ice, the quicker they're going to find the beads and solve the puzzle, hopefully.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. And what can we expect to be the outcome of this event?
I may be lynched, but they're having frosty fun.
Are they having? It looks like they're having fun. The teams look very intent in their activities.
Yeah. They're concentrating, and the kids look like they're having fun too. We've got a lot of kids today, and they're really working the ice.
That's awesome. Well, you gotta love the kids.
All right, I gotta go.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Okay.
Thanks, Debbie.
Well, there you have it. Dora Moore wasn't lynched. I have to throw that out as a spoiler.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. She did say that she had been freezing ice for months in preparation for the Summertime Winter Games. The preparation really showed. It was a well-run event.
Yeah,
No.
that was pretty cool. Literally.
Not cool. It was cold. It was beyond cool. But,
No, it was neat. The creativity that went into each of the events was awesome. They all had a very, very strict. Well, strict isn't the word I'm looking. What am I trying to say here? They were all very consistently
a cohesive theme.
Yes, they're all very consistently winter themed and geocaching themed. So the amount of time and creativity and creative energy that all went in there just boggles my mind. And as I'm saying that, I notice that Three Hams and a Rose has posted the link for Scruffster's YouTube video of the events. So we can...
He says there's the link to it, or simply Google 2015 Summer Winter Games YouTube.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, Scruffster.
Might catch a glimpse of,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So you might catch a glimpse of Wits End and a Jane Took. I'll just leave it at that.
And once you see that, you'll understand the opening for the show. We don't pick these things randomly, folks. Every show is carefully crafted with hundreds of inside jokes that sometimes
Pandora Moore confirms in the comments that she's not lynched. She's still here and still smiling.
You know, I do like the fact that I always ask event coordinators, would you do it again? You know, with all the work that they put in, the first question, would you do it again? And almost to a whole, they say yes, of course I'd do it again. So
great.
Yes, sometimes depending on the event, I have heard them say, absolutely, I will do it again in 2 years. But I have to say that was a question that we asked Dora Moore at the end of this event, and she said that they have already got ideas underway for next year. So clearly that's a yes. And you know, Metro Van geocachers, we are just really fortunate to have some of these folks who are volunteering and putting together these kind of events like this. You know, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have that kind of fun. So thank you to not only Dora Moore, but then Kikaro and everybody else. There's just too many of them for me to name, and I probably can't remember, and I'll forget somebody and offend somebody, but so many people who put so much work into making that awesome.
Dora Moore confirms that she's already working on the next one.
Cool.
I will do my best to attend.
As will I. Now, one of the interesting things that I really wanted to know about, you know, they gave you, Dora Moore gave you hints on the webpage of some of the things that you were going to do, and one of them was a snowman building contest.
Indeed.
And I looked at that and I go, how do you build a snowman in
You know, when they first opened the coolers and the ice cubes were coming out, I thought, oh, this must be the snowman building contest. They're going to have to stack ice cubes into a snowman or something like that, but obviously I was wrong about
Silly.
that.
Silly monkey.
Tricks are for kids.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to the play-by-play announcers as they talk about the snowman building contest.
And we're rolling.
Excellent. So welcome back once again to the 2015 Summertime Winter Games. Broadcasting live
from the International Broadcast Center here at Port Royal Park in New Westminster, British Columbia.
It's Wits End.
And Land Monkey.
And now we've completely confused you if you usually recognize our voices.
That's right. So, Land Monkey, what are we looking at here at the next event at the Summertime Winter Games?
This is, depending on how you count it, either the third or fourth major event. Everybody's had a lunch break, we had a prize draw, and now back to work for fun time here. And my understanding is it is a snowman building competition.
Well, it's too warm out here to build a snowman. How are they doing that?
Well, that was my thought. How on earth are you going to build a snowman on the hottest day of the summer? But it is a very clever ruse that was put forth here by our event creators. And what we have is, if folks have ever seen the disposable hazmat white suits, we have 3 of those, 1 per each team. And Witsen, what are they doing with those?
Well, they are stuffing them with snowballs, of course, because it is a snowman. But being that it's, as you mentioned, one of the hottest days of the summer, they're creating the, shall we say, forming the snowballs from crumpled newspaper.
Excellent.
They're
So
stuffing the hazmat type suits you mentioned. Oh, and I just heard a balloon pop, which means that somebody's head has exploded. No, not a participant, but a snowman, because they stuffed the suits with newspaper snowballs, but the head of the snowman was a balloon.
So they have a limited quantity of white balloons
Yes.
per team. So if you pop both of yours, I believe you only get 2, and if you pop them both,
Yeah.
you're, what's our phrase?
Hosed.
You're hosed.
I'm picking up the jargon here.
There you go. But in addition, in the event description, people were encouraged to make sure that they brought other accessories
Yes.
to accessorize your snowman, and people have. And the creativity out here is fantastic.
Oh, yes, I'm seeing hats,
I see a Canadian flag.
Canadian flag, grass hula skirt.
Very nice, very
Yeah.
nice. I think we're going to have to go over there and take some photos shortly. to
Yeah,
get-
there's some great photo opportunities going on out here. Just doesn't quite carry through with the audio podcast. But
It doesn't. It's a lot of fun. But so you'd say, well, what does this have to do with geocaching?
what
well,
does this have to do with geocaching?
Well, here's the switch. Dora Moore is now calling all the participants away from their snowman. Everybody has finished making their snowman. They're about to start the judging part. So each snowman is going to be judged.
It is a judged event,
It
yes.
is a judged event. But then here's the trick. The teams will be shifted 1 over to each of the snowmen. So if you were working on the 3rd snowman, you'll be moved to the 2nd, and the 2nd to the 1st, etc. And you're given a nano cache.
Ooh,
You
those
hide
are mean sometimes.
Those are mean sometimes, and you hide the nano cache you're given somewhere on the body of the snowman,
Ah.
and then the teams shift 1 more over. So if you were on number 3, you're now on number 1, and it's the first team to find.
You then look for the nano cache that the other team hid.
That's right.
So since you're not seeking your own nano cache, you're going to hide it rather deviously, I can assume.
I would assume that's going to be the modus operandi here of the players, because it's geocachers.
Absolutely. And I just have a sneaking suspicion that the search for said nanocache just might result in a little bit of snowman destruction and mayhem.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. Before they get started on that, I want to head over there and get some great pictures
That's
to
right.
post on Instagram.
All right. Well, why don't you go do that, and we'll sign off, and we'll come back and join later.
Fantastic.
So there you have it. Did you get some good pictures there, Land Monkey?
I did. So if you don't follow at LandMonkeyGC on Instagram, do follow it. Follow me, and you'll be able to see a couple of pictures of the snowman. And one thing I'd have to add is, while Wits End and I were observing it and suspecting that the snowman would get destroyed, one of the caveats of the rules that Dora Moore put forward was you cannot destroy the snowman in the search. So
Right.
if your team trashed the snowman looking for the nano, you were disqualified. So people were it was really funny watching people be so meticulous going through every fold of a scarf, and yeah, it's great. It's good
But
fun.
carefully doing it as to
Correct.
not damage it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was good. It was nice that they laid those ground rules.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we have. Oh, go ahead, please.
No, I was just saying it was smart. It was well played.
Yes.
Exactly. We have one more audio clip. It's going to be the wrap up and a little twist, I might say. I was surprised when I heard this.
So I don't know if you just heard that, but the crowd was chanting, "Icicle, icicles, icicles." We're in the middle of a tiebreaker round. There's apparently been a tie between the Icicles and who's the other team?
And the snowdrifts.
And the Snowdrifts. So, as we've learned throughout the day, Dormore has planned and prepared for every possible contingency today, including the possibility of a tiebreaker. So, Team Icicle and Team Snowdrift
Correct.
are now. What are they? They're building a snowball.
So the tie-breaking game requires each team to build There we go. There's the first one. To build a snowball and launch it with a large elastic, and the team's snowball that travels the furthest will win the tiebreaker.
Okay. Because we have all launched snowballs with large elastic bands, haven't we?
We are in Canada.
Okay. That's right. This is probably something they teach every elementary school student
It's an
in
Olympic
Canada.
sport.
Okay.
It is now.
Yeah, it is. It will be in the upcoming games. And what's the prognosis out there? How are the teams doing?
They look like they're getting ready to try their first launch, and people are standing awfully close.
Yeah,
So either that means they don't have a lot of faith,
or they really want to get a snowball because it's hot out here. Not bad.
that was a pretty good launch.
That was a pretty good launch. I'd say, well, I don't know.
I'd say about 10 meters?
Yeah. I was going to say 25 feet myself, but we are in Canada, so I'll go with the meters thing. I hear that just might catch on somewhere.
It might. So, was that the second? That must have been the
I think
second
that was the
team.
second one. I think that was the farther of the two.
All right. So
Since I never
that
saw the
means
first
that we
one
do have a winner of the tiebreaker.
A clear and decisive winner.
So now, Dora Moore is getting everybody organized, and they are going to announce the awards, the winning of the awards, gold, silver, and bronze, and awards will be given. So everybody who came here will walk away with either a gold medal, a silver medal, or a bronze medal.
Wonderful. And not only are they awarding medals, I hear there also has been a survey going on for a new mascot for the Metro Vancouver Association. Yeah?
There has been a survey today. Everybody who came to the event was asked to fill out a survey, hand it in to the International Broadcasting Center,
That's right.
where we tallied it up. And the winner, we'll give you a sneak peek
Oh,
here.
it hasn't been announced yet.
Hasn't
You're
been
hearing it
announced,
here
but we're going to
first.
tell you because we know the results.
Oh, Team Frostbite just won the snowball competition. That was
They won the
tiebreaker.
gold medals.
The gold medals.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. So they're getting their medals. But while that's going on, we will tell you the official mascot for Metro Vancouver Geocachers is now the squirrel.
The squirrel. All right.
And why the squirrel?
Why not the squirrel?
Well, because the squirrels are good at hiding things.
They are. They're
Not
plentiful.
so good at finding them.
They're plentiful.
and Mrs. Land Monkey says, and they're chipper.
Oh, Chippy. Chippy, chipper, chippy.
All right. So, yes, the medal ceremonies are underway. The gold medals are being handed out with a lot of big smiley faces. The medals are laser-cut wood medals, spray-painted gold in a snowflake design, and hung off of a hand-knitted lanyard.
Oh, nice.
So that is quite the thing here. And everybody's walking away with at least one. So, you know, that makes for a good event.
That's fantastic. I think this wraps up the Metro Vancouver Summertime Winter Games for 2015. I told you I'd get it eventually.
You got it right at the end.
Right at
Nicely
the end,
done.
now that it's over. It's been a great event. As you can hear in the background, the participants had a fantastic time, and we're going to wrap it up for this year's event.
Well, Wits End, I want to thank you very sincerely on behalf of all the Metrovan geocachers for yourself and your daughter coming up to join us for this event.
It was our pleasure. We had a great, great time.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and thank you, listeners. We will now return you to your regular programming.
Already in progress.
And sure enough, the program is in progress. Now,
Right.
in the comment,
regular, but it's in progress.
well, that's in the comments, Dora Moore says, you didn't mention the biathlon. That was the best part. Well, let me tell you, your two play-by-play announcers did talk about the biathlon. We've got all 10 minutes of that, and we're going to release it in that very special episode that will come out soon after this episode hits the feed. I'll give it a day or two, and then I'll release the one that will cover all 36 plus minutes.
They include over 20 minutes of previously unaired footage.
Yes, exactly.
But just to give a little bit of a spoiler on the biathlon, because I think it is worthy of mention in the episode. We're not going to get to the audio on it, but Wits End and I had no idea how on earth they were going to do a biathlon. The premise was like an Olympic biathlon. There was a quote-unquote skiing
Snowshoes.
Yeah, or snowshoes component and a shooting component. Wits End, I'll talk about the snowshoes if you want to cover the shooting.
Sure.
So basically, they had plastic milk jugs with holes cut in the side of them that people put their feet in and then had to run on grass around a reasonably large circuit, and it did result in a few little spillages. It was pretty funny, and it was highly competitive. But they would run the loop. There's 4 people per heat, per team. They'd run the loop, and then they would be armed.
Yes, and there was not much traction in a milk jug on grass, as you can imagine. So once they did their lap in their milk jug snowshoes, then they had to, as you would expect in a biathlon, shoot at targets. And the crew, the volunteer crew of Dora Moore and her helpers from the Metro Vancouver Geocaching Association, built some very impressive biathlon targets. And if you've ever seen the targets at an actual Olympic event, they are small circles that change color as the athlete shoots at them. So these were no different. Large signs, 6 targets. I believe they only had 5 in the Olympics, but we had 6 because each one had a letter above it that spelled out Muggle. And there are 6 holes, approximately 2 inches across. That's something else in centimeters. And they would arm them with water rifles, actually, like super soakers. And I believe I didn't get close enough to see what they actually had for an indicator, but I think it was something tissue paperish or something that would indicate that the water had indeed gotten through the target and soaked that paper and then moved on to the next target. So effective, ingenious, creative, and just a whole heck of a lot of fun.
It was, and you'll hear all about it in our special episode.
And if you watch social media and Caching NW Facebook page for the hashtag geocache road trip, you might notice that those same milk jug snowshoes had some letters on them, and prior to the events, the actual games kicking off, the entire group gathered for a photo with the snowshoes spelling out geocache road trip, and Land Monkey and myself holding the skis in a hashtag format. So a whole lot of fun.
We were, and we certainly had some assistance in holding the skis.
Yeah.
Brylang and a couple other cachers were helping us out, which was great because, as Brylang pointed out, geez, hashtags are heavy.
I love that post. Who knew hashtags were heavy?
Right.
But yeah, that was awesome.
Well, good. Dora Moore says in the Q&A, I need to see next year's work schedule before I can project the date. I work alternate weekends.
Oh, okay.
With the sad face.
Oh.
So Dora Moore hasn't yet set the date for next year's summer events, but, you know, she's got a lot to live up to.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't know how we were going to best last year, and she did. Her and her crew did, and now the bar has been set once again even higher. So, Dora Moore, everybody's waiting.
Well, Dora Moore, thank you for making this a great year, because hopefully I'll be up there next year, which will be even better.
Yes.
There you go.
So, well, folks, that's going to be a wrap for episode 104 of Caching in the Northwest. And it's always great to have you guys join us for the podcast. And your feedback really makes this show much more interesting. And we want to let you know that we've got more great shows lined up. It's back-to-back Geo Tours. With next week, July 30th, that's the Gold Country Geotourism with Terry Hadwin. And August 6th is Cache Advance with the Geo Tour in Spokane. Then August 13th, it's We're Going to the Last Block Party Show. I'm just going to stop talking before I get in too much trouble.
Oh, the last block party. That's kind of sad, actually.
Block Party. I can't say it. But,
just take a drink of water, and I'll tell everybody that we've got some great episodes coming up. And, you know, make sure you tune in and check out cachingnw.com for all that information, or the Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff. And before we go, speaking of Facebook pages and whatnot, gentlemen, you know, assuming that people haven't gotten sick of us yet and heard enough, maybe they might actually want to connect with us online and tell us that they're sick of it. No, tell us, just get in touch with us on any method, where would they go? Let's say they wanted to find Land Monkey.
Well, we wouldn't really understand why, but if they did want to, we would appreciate that. If they're looking for Twitter or Instagram, look for @LandMonkeyGC. The GC stands for geocaching because somebody else had already taken Land Monkey. On Facebook, it's Team Land Monkey, and on YouTube, just search Land Monkey and you'll come up with us. How about you, Bad Cop? Where can they find the Bad Cop?
Well, at Twitter, it's CachingNW. Facebook.com/CachingNW. Google Plus, it's a little more complicated. Google.com/plus CachingNW. What about you, Wits End? Where can they find you?
I am Wits End. I am Wits End, thankfully, almost everywhere except a few places that, like Land Monkey, it was already taken. So, but on the major social networks, Twitter, Facebook, geocaching.com, I'm just Wits End. And as the same issue you had on Google, I am google.com/plus WitsEndUS.
Fantastic. Well, folks, again, thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. And remember, you can be a part of the show. Call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask a question, feed us at an event any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Also, please remember that your support helps to keep quality shows coming. If you like this show, please click the PayPal button on the cachingnw.com website. This show is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2015 by Chris Infinauer.
Thanks, folks. IHAM added, that's why the hashtag is also called the pound sign.
I love that.
And we're clear of the recording.
All right.
That was a little drawn out. I wasn't sure if we actually were clear of the recording at first.
It took a moment.
I didn't hear the closing music, but I hope it was there somewhere.
I could faintly hear it. It was there.
I heard it quite well. Thank you. You play it again.
As long as somebody heard it, that's all that really matters.
So Three Hams in a Row shares in the Q&A that it'll be both his first and last block party. But hey, at least it's good that he's making it there for.
Exactly.
Yeah, we missed having him at the Summertime Winter Games, but we'll look forward to seeing him at the block party.
Absolutely. So, Bad Cop, to confirm, we do have a tent at the venue for the block party?
Yes. We're all good to go.
That is awesome. So, folks, I guess we're not sure where it will be at this point in time.
Not a clue at this point. Now, we've been to the block party. Was this our 5th or 6th time? Anyway, each time they have put us in a totally different location.
Yeah.
So who knows? We'll be there.
Last year worked really well.
Last year we were down with the vendors, and I think that worked out nice.
It did work well.
Yeah. So you never know. If you're listening to us live here, come on by. We'll give you a 100th episode path tag.
While supplies last.
I don't have in front of me.
Mine are upstairs.
You have one? Okay. So, but we got path tags for the 100th episode of Caching in the Northwest. We're going to give those out to our listeners.
Yeah. Or if you can't wait till then, and you can find me somewhere in Canada and buy me a beer, you can get one.
Ooh, yeah. Or if you can find me somewhere in America, 36 beers, and you get a free path tag.
It was you.
Wait. Did I say that out loud? I meant 36 bottles of water, like Air Rooster was mentioning earlier.
That's too funny. What else have we got in the Q&A there?
And apparently the video that...
Scruffster?
Scruffster, thank you. I was coming up with another S word that wasn't appropriate. And is only 4 minutes, 20 seconds long, so there might be more coming.
Could be.
Interesting. Okay. Or perhaps that's a question.
Perhaps there's more coming?
Might there be more coming? We're not sure.
And at the very beginning of the episode, you two were waggling your squids.
Yes, absolutely.
And Brian Langsure says, I hope waggling your squid isn't in the Urban Dictionary.
Well, if it is, this is what waggling your squid is, which is really helpful if you're, well, we're past the audio point, so you would have to be watching and see this. Squid, we're referring to what we call a power squid, which is a swag gift that the Bad Cop and Wits End got at a vendor event, and were kind enough to sneak an extra one up across the border for me.
Nobody from the Border Patrol is listening, right?
I'm not sure that they're going to be too worried about a $1 plastic set of cables, but
Okay.
I didn't pay
if
anything.
they are, I will pay my duty on it.
I didn't pay anything for it. So look, there's footage from.
Hey.
There's Mrs. Lane Monkey.
There she is, in her white T-shirt, doing hand gestures. Very dramatic.
She's part Italian, apparently.
And there are some people there. And there are some yellow-shirted people.
Yes.
The Voluntolds.
Opening ceremony. You know, it's interesting without sound.
It is.
So we can only, you know what?
I was afraid of inciting a 7-second loop. Hey, there's a Jane Took.
Very nice.
Left.
That was awkward.
Left. Oh, I see you, Jay, or Land Monkey. You apparently don't want to touch Wits End in front of you there.
I had the torch in one hand and something. Well, I need to sort of hold it up for everybody, right? Because if I have the torch, what's the point of having it not held up? And in my other hand, I had my video camera, and I didn't just want a shot of Wits End's back. So yes, I had a very heroic pose going on.
That was a very energetic snowball.
Hey, I know those guys.
Look at that.
That was the International Broadcast Center. See, it's missing.
Yes.
It's missing the principal host.
Yeah, there's a big hole right in the middle there. We left room for you.
Oh, thank you. I apparently didn't bring me a chair.
There's the ice cubes.
Actually, we did have a chair for you, but
Oh, okay. Wasn't in the picture.
Just before we left on our tandem ski run there, Land Monkey asked me about, how we were going to start, and I said, well, I tend to start with my right. He said, you tend to, or you're going to? We'll just let you figure that out. There's the quad skiing. Some of these people were in great synchronization, and some of them weren't. I believe my daughter's there on the third person on the first ski there. Oh, the winter glove relay. Yes, forgot about that one. Here's the snowman building.
Yep.
Oh, so much fun was had by all. I really wish I had been there.
Dora Moore comments in the Q&A. And I think it's in response to Three Hams in a Row's earlier question about the time of the video, that it's the highlights only.
Well, there you go. There's the three snowmen.
Yeah, there's the snowshoes.
Of the apocalypse.
The three snowmen of the apocalypse.
There's the biathlon. Of course, yeah. Oh, that's my daughter shooting a rifle. What are they? There are your muggle targets. Very well done.
Ooh, he is really into this.
He was quite the competitor.
Is that Keats?
No, that wasn't Keats. That was GeoNavPros, Mr. GeoNavPros.
Ah, yes. He did a favorite Northwest cache as well.
Excellent.
Oh, he and his wife, I should say.
That was the first snowball. Didn't go very far. But the second one went much farther. And speaking of him, there he is launching the snowball.
Oh, and there's the closing announcements.
Ceremonies, yes.
My daughter has her bronze medal proudly displayed.
Very nice. And now, Mr. Land Monkey, you had a hand in making all the medals, correct?
Not in the medals.
Okay.
I came up with the suggestion that perhaps we could do something for the smaller children who may not want to risk life and limb with the adults sliding around on milk jugs. And what I came up with, so I was said, I was given by Dora Moore.
Oh, and there's Land Monkey getting soaked.
Yeah, there you go. And that's how things ended. That was how the day ended. Dora Moore said, hey, that's a great idea. Go do it. So, you know how these things work. So what I did is I also laser cut smiley puzzles. It's a 4-piece puzzle that when the 4 pieces are together makes a smiley, and then I had 4 separate geocaching-like puzzles that kids would have to figure out. Had a lot of help from Scruffster and Dora Moore in putting together the puzzles. A lot of creative ideas, and so there weren't a ton of kids who were doing it, but there were a few, and they really seemed to have a great time. And in fact, one of the entries into our hashtag geocache road trip contest is of 2 of the kids with their completed smiley puzzles from the event.
Nice. And one of those puzzles we autographed.
We did, and that was given away as a prize.
Let's see if I can properly share this. Does that look? There you go.
There you go. That's the one.
Happiness is having a completed smiley puzzle.
Yeah, they were having a lot of fun with that. It was great. That worked out really well. And thanks to Scruffster for helping with the puzzles. He put together a color by numbers puzzle for the kids to get some of the coordinates, which was great. And obviously, as we already mentioned, he put together that video, which was fantastic.
You know, you guys had a lot of fun, but I'm looking at the entries here for the hashtag geocache road trip, and some of them are spectacular.
They are.
So
Yep.
I just had to throw that out there. Okay, I'm done now.
Dave and Daryl have their work cut out for them, that's for sure.
I say, including an entry from a birthday party of somebody that was listening tonight, his wife. We had a great time at that event on this weekend.
Yeah, you guys had a busy weekend.
Yeah, it was busy.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Here we go. I had mentioned that there was a sheet that you could download and print on the official rules, and sure enough, they had printed it and it's sitting there. So there you go. Hashtag geocache road trip.
No, Land Monkey, I'm not trying to get into every photo.
However, he wasn't.
I was in that one. And as I mentioned, Land Monkey and I were holding the hashtag in the Summertime Winter Games entry. So,
Brylang mentions the autographed puzzle was won by Fine D and gained several other autographs before it went home with its new owner.
Nice.
Awesome.
Now, that was an idea by Mr. Land Monkey himself, who brought it to the
Mount Vernon
GeoCoin Challenge, which I have my coin right here.
Yeah.
And while we were at dinner, we all signed it. And apparently other people did too, because that's a great idea. So
it's cool. Hopefully that makes a nice souvenir for her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It might be worth something in spite of my signature.
I was going to say, you can always send mine off.
Well, you know, art always becomes more valuable once the people have died, or the artist has died. So, you know, who knows? In a few years, that could be worth something when all 3 of us are dead from some tragic geocaching accident.
Could be a few weeks.
Tragic podcasting accident.
Oh, tragic podcasting accident.
That's okay, though, because if something tragically happens to us, we'll come back 7 seconds later.
That's right. Continually.
And again and again.
And again. And again.
You thought you were going to get rid of us.
And then?
And then?
Yeah, it's been a fun episode. How long was the recorded audio episode? Did we get 30 minutes plus?
Yeah, we were over 30 minutes.
45 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I figured we must have been. There's quite a bit of pre-recorded audio, plus we had a lot of news items, which is great. I love having a lot of news items.
Exactly.
It's a busy news week this week.
Very good. I'm going to cut the recording here. Good night, everyone.
All right, folks.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for hanging out.